I'm representing a company called Virta. Let's see if we get this running. Now, here we go. So, I'm promising you that V2G services will make your power company look cool. What it means, let's start with a video of seeing what V2G means for our company today.
Hi, I'm Antonia. I'm going to show you how I use V2G charging every day. Okay, let's start charging. Most people spend about 8 hours a day at the office, so it's a really natural place to charge. With more renewables in the grid, it's becoming more unstable, but since electric vehicles are big batteries on wheels, when we have enough of them connected, we can use them to stabilize the grid. So now I've connected the charger, then I'm just going to choose the Virta app in the phone. And here I can see the charger I want to use. And first I'm going to set the time I want to be done by, which is 4 o'clock today. And then I just swipe to charge. Yeah, that's it. This is how easy it is to start and stop bidirectional charging. But now I'm just going to leave it rolling while I go to work. With a V2G charger, it means I can help balance the grid while I'm at work. It also means I don't have to pay as much for charging.
This is what we can see in our energy management system, which is much more detailed than in end-user app. Here we can see that the frequency has been varying during the day, since the production and consumption of electricity are constantly changing and not matching 100% all the time. And in the future, as we get more and more renewable energy, it will be even more unstable. In our case, the goal of V2G is to balance the grid by reading the frequency and adjusting charging and discharging power. And this is done by the help of electric vehicles.
Okay, I'm gonna head off. But first I'm gonna stop charging by swiping it off.
Okay, so that was just an example of how we can use V2G for frequency containment reserves. That's one of the easiest ways to take benefit from V2G. But what's more important is we have ecosystemic view on the global climate change and on the other hand, end user view. So if we look at the climate change issue, I would say that the narrative of European policymaking is that we want to solve the climate change through electrification. What it basically means, it means that we have to stop the emissions coming from combustion, and the combustion emissions are sourced by either mobility or energy production. So 2/3 of all emissions come from these sources. And in order to stop these emissions, we have to stop them on both sectors at the same time. And this is something that both European policymakers as well as most energy utilities in Europe are very committed. So there are 3 pillars in how we can tackle this climate issue. First of all, we have to increase energy efficiency drastically. If you take an EV, it's 4 times more energy efficient than a combustion car. So that already decreases 75% in mobility side. Secondly, we have to decarbonize electricity production. Like I said, energy industry has, on a European level, committed that way before 2050, the electricity production will be zero carbon. I think it will happen much faster though, due to renewables being so cheap that it will be achieved already around maybe 2040. And then only thing we have to do is electrify everything. So this is kind of a simple theory. I'm here explaining this is how we solve climate change. Of course, there are many things that will have to happen. There are also things that we need to change in the energy system, the way we think. We have to start thinking, instead of thinking about the production of energy, to the demand of energy, and we have to start commanding the demand more. What it means is that when we get more and more renewables in the energy system due to decarbonization, the energy system gets more volatile, it needs more flexibility. So the demand response market is growing the same pace as the renewables are growing in the energy system. So what we can do, we know that there will be around 100 million electric vehicles in the market by 2030 in the world. EU estimate is 40 million in Europe. Well, we are not maybe getting that much, but we are getting some. We are getting enough that we will form amazingly big battery storage reserves. Because the EVs are the biggest battery storage reserve we are going to have in the energy system in the next decades. So for instance, in our company network alone, already in 2 years we are going to have a battery storage that we can command, which is equal to a single nuclear reactor. So this is not a small thing. But the second thing, if we look at it from the energy system point of view, energy incentive industry mostly is energy intensive in electricity demand. So actually we might say that how fast can we decarbonize Europe is how fast we can decarbonize electricity. And the pace of how fast we can decarbonize electricity is actually highly dependent on the flexibility we can get to balance the renewables. So EVs might be the single most important solution in decarbonizing the whole European society. And this is exactly what we are doing. So what it means for the power companies, of course, we say that we want to stop it. No. A few years ago, I'm, by the way, the chairman of Eurelectric working group for e-mobility as well, so I'm in the European energy industry side. A few years back, the energy industry thought that renewables are bad. They're ruining our business. They're doing something that we don't want to do, and they're very difficult things to kind of solve in our investment plans. But now things have changed. Most energy companies love renewables. They're becoming the new business for energy industry. Also, we're starting to think that these new digital energy assets might be, instead of just ruining our business, solutions for how we build our new business models. But the problem, of course, is when to invest. As we know, this kind of digital marketplaces are usually very much transaction business driven. And there are not too many transactions yet. There are not enough electric cars to build the battery storage related flexibility market. So it's a big question on when should we invest and what is the kind of cost for the investment now? When are we getting the payback? So what we see is that these kind of industries are now starting from projects, and as the industry advances, they go to as a service business models, and eventually we reach the transaction-based business. So what should an energy utility do? What should a power company do? Wow, now we get also some hydro energy. So what should power company do? There are kind of three kind of strategies a power company might take. First, if you're a major utility and you want to be the #1 market leader in the world in these businesses, you choose to invest heavily, billions. Let's say NLX is doing that. They have a huge investment portfolio, highly developed innovation department, heavy R&D, great business planning, and all separated from the slow-moving old energy company structure. But not all companies want to take this kind of advanced role because it means you really have to invest beforehand. So the second strategy where most companies are at this moment is that you want to pilot, you want to learn, you want to involve your stuff because you know it's going to happen, you don't know when, and you're unsure when you should invest. And this is where we see now major projects taking on. We are doing bi-directional projects, for instance, in several countries, maybe 5-6 countries already, biggest being over 1,000 chargers project together with E.ON and Nissan in the UK that is already in the installation phase. So these kind of projects allow us to use public money, allow us to use our own resources, allow us to partner and make these things really work. So this is where we participate on commercial terms with major utilities. And of course, then there are companies who say that we don't believe this is going to be a big thing yet. Or the CEO would say, I will be retired before this gets a big thing. But I want to look good, still keeping my numbers. So this kind of CEO of a utility or a power company would say that let's do a few single pilots, let's not invest, let's put the money on communications and marketing, let's wash ourselves a bit greener and look good for our owners. So I think these are the three main strategies an energy utility can choose. But the best thing is that you don't have to kind of say that I'm not in the business, even though if you would take the smallest step. But these kind of things, pilots are available for everybody already. And how is that possible then? What should you do? Well, basically, in digital services, the world is digital. It means that usually digital services are built on platforms. Why is that? Because actually, when you first heard the word digital, you thought it's going to be very efficient and cheap. That's not the case. Building digital platforms, global platforms, is super expensive. That's why not everybody can afford to build their own digital platform or digital business. But people and companies will have to rely on these kind of central platforms that bring the benefit to each party. Another kind of essential role with the platform compared to a company buying these kind of things as, for instance, software as a service or development project is that platform you cannot buy and platform you cannot command. Platform you join. When you join a platform, you also commit to the rules of the platform, because the ideology of a platform is that all the players in the platform commit to same rules and therefore can benefit from the platform and no one of them has to invest alone. So these kind of platforms form an ecosystem of future digital energy management. We are one of the platforms, and the key is that these kind of platforms are interoperable with each other. So we are talking about the gravity-based ecosystem here. So the gravity might be the size of the platform, it might be the number of customers, number of chargers or EVs in the platform, but more often it's about the impact, it's about the technological superiority, it's about the user experience that really grows some platforms bigger and more powerful than others. So when you join a platform like this, you can benefit all sides of the platform. That's why we call it multi-sided platform. Another thing that's essential in this kind of platforms is that if you look at Google, for instance, the user is not paying for the service, but somebody else will. So it's not symmetric in a way of who is paying and who is delivering the service. But there can be different kind of roles in this kind of platform. So joining a platform enables very easy, cost-efficient way of starting your own business in a new digital energy era. So, few words about our company, what we are doing. Well, we are actually a platform just like that, making sure that we provide this service to all our customers on the customer brand, making it possible for every utility company, every power company, every car company, OEM company, everybody, also end users, to be part of this ecosystem. And we don't own any charging points, we just operate this kind of ecosystems. We are not doing it on our own brand, except in Finland, because we have to learn end-to-end user experience and how this thing works. But elsewhere, we are always behind our customer. Our biggest customer, for instance, is E.ON. E.ON operates their EV charging business in 11 countries on Virta platform. What is the key if you want to use this kind of platform? Well, we have tried to find out and we have built our USP based on that. So we believe customer brands. The brand is one of the biggest assets a power company has. So we do branded solutions. Second is, you don't want to do EV charging, you don't want to do this kind of things unless you build it for the energy business of the future. And thirdly, you need an integrated user experience, journey from home to fleet to public charging. And combining these three may be the best possible service. So we are operating in 26 countries. Actually, these numbers are already getting old. So we have 250 maybe professional charging networks as our customers. The number of charging events was this month that I checked it just a while ago, 260,000 something. So there are a lot of transactions on the platform. This is, we can say, global proof of concept that this kind of ecosystem works. And the number of kilometers is already like 70 million. We're going to have 100 million kilometers driven through the electricity charge from our platform by the end of the year. We have just 80,000 registered customers. We are going to have 100,000 by the end of the year because we haven't been in the subscription model. Most of our customers go with the single paid charging. But we can change that if there's a need for it. If your business model requires subscriptions, let's build subscriptions for you. We are located in 5 countries and we are super happy to show you how our systems, how the V2G services, how the end user apps actually work at our stand, which is just 20 meters behind this wall there's some graphs, so we are growing as well. So this is maybe an example that we are doing something right, and we hope that you are part of the next growth pattern we are going to have. So we are in P91 stand, just behind this wall, together with the whole team, also the people you saw in the video, and we can show you how bidirectional energy works with electric cars. We think we are the best in the world in that. Thank you.
Wait, just a second. Thank you very much, Elias. Does anybody have any questions for Virta? Yeah, okay. But yeah, here. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My question was actually, you said at the end you're the best in the world. What makes you the best in the world? And are there other players that come together on a multi-platform or something like that? Or will there be just one?
No, actually, in platform strategy, you usually say that winner takes it all. But we don't believe in that. We believe that the gravity-based ecosystem of multiple key players is something of the future in this industry as well. Yes, there are others. There are others, especially from very narrow technology point of view. Some that have the hardware point of view. But I think what we are the best of is the end-to-end experience, because this concerns energy flows, money flows, end user experience, and integrations to energy markets. So it's a really complex world to handle together. And that's something that we handle the best in the world. And you can buy a niche technology to each of these parties that is separate from that. But the end-to-end experience, definitely we know best how to handle.
Good afternoon. My question is about Virta being a software platform, and I wish to compare it with the Tesla platform. Let's suppose you buy a Tesla electric car. It has its own app and it has its own platform. So, I mean, how would you compete with that without having your own electric vehicle, let's suppose? I mean, what are the benefits of using Virta and not using a Tesla app for your Tesla itself?
Well, if you look at it from the Tesla kind of car point of view, that's actually very, very good question. First of all, Tesla is a closed ecosystem. So they decide what they do with their cars and with their chargers being the kind of the key. So if you look at our ecosystem, we are open ecosystem, open to interactions with other players, and that makes us kind of more flexible, more bigger. But the other thing is that we believe that the assets who control what we can do with the battery are related to owning the charger and the end user. So the end user and the charger are the keys in this value chain. But in a sense, you're right, this value chain is not defined. So it's moving all the time. The OEMs definitely want to get their share as well in this value chain. But we see that the asset owner of the EV charger, the charging equipment and the grid connection are in the key role here.
Okay, just for sake of time, thank you very much again, Elias. Anybody else who has questions can come visit you at your stand, and we will move on to the next speaker.
Thank you so much.
Please help me welcome John Murray from